Some music just to vibe out. But this is not going to be playing for too long. And then I'm going to go live from here. It looks like. Let's make sure we live. I think we are. So we are live from Facebook and YouTube. Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. It's Back Talk Tuesday. We about to go live from Instagram, so just bear with me. We are live. Hello, and welcome to Get Into the Bag. Happy Tuesday. I am your host and founder, Embrielle Coleman, and this podcast is brought to you by Columbus Black and Mile. Columbus Black serves to be the primary source of communication in Columbus, Ohio, so make sure you are following them on all social media platforms. And Mile, making your life entertaining, is the next generation of software where you can curate your own experience with just the tap of a finger. It's free, easy to use, and when you're looking for things to do, places to go, and places to eat, just Mile it. Make sure you are following Mile on all social media platforms. I have an amazing guest here with me tonight. We are about to get her on Instagram Live or live from Facebook, but y'all know Instagram is where it's at with the live interaction. So we're going to get her on the live here and talk all things politics and voting. And I'm not going to say all things, but because that's very, very wide and vast, but we're going to cover some of the things that we need to know for this voting season. All right, hold on, Money.
Okay,
we did it.
We did it.
Awesome. Well, hello, beautiful. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Girl, I'm good. And you?
Good. I'm doing well. Can't complain. No complaints at all.
Look at your skin. The skin is skinning.
Girl, it's the light. It's the makeup. Thank you.
Well, you look great. And we're going to talk about all the great things that you're doing right now and what you will do. So we're going to go ahead and get into introductions. So I know who you are. We went to Ohio University together, even though it was brief.
Yes.
But introduce yourself to my audience. Give us your name, hometown, and your current position. Hey, Marquise.
So I know, hey, Marquise. Hey, my brother Manny's on here.
Hey, Manny.
Always supporting me. But so my name is Imani Edwards, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Again, family met at Ohio University, where I attended and graduated in 2018. After graduating, I moved to Washington, D.C. for an internship experience with the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. Thinking that was just going to be for a little bit. That turned into, hey, just kind of stick it out, give D.C. a try. So I moving to D.C. And working on the Hill for then Congresswoman Marsha Fudge. Of course, she did transition over to HUD. And so now I followed her over to HUD and I serve as her executive assistant.
Wow. So tons of success following leaving Ohio University. How are you liking D.C.?
DC is cool. I couldn't always say that. At first, I was like, what's a metro? Like, what's me walk where? Like, again, I'm from Northeast Ohio, the Midwest, we drive everywhere.
Right.
So I first moved, I did have my car. So my mom was like, I'm desperately need money for Uber, so you need to figure it out. And I'm like, Lord, okay. So start taking the metro RTA, so all that good stuff. But again, that being here, looking at all the monuments and just the different communities and different pockets. It definitely is so different from everything that I knew to be life back in Cleveland, back in Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So it's been good. It took some time, but it's grown on me. I'm totally happy that I'm here. So let's see what's next.
Awesome. I hear great things about DC. I feel like every time I look up, somebody else, especially from OU, is moving there. Brunch culture looks like it is lit.
Real thing, like literally Saturday, Sunday, like it's just brunch, like literally all day. Like you wake up, get dressed, go out, brunch. But it's super fun, It's definitely a really great culture, especially for young professionals, I would say. families, all that good stuff. But we definitely have a really dope culture out here for sure.
That is super dope. And I love the fact that you're in the right place when it comes to politics, right?
The Mecca, literally.
Literally the Mecca. So I know that you had, mentioned your success. You had your internship, you said, with the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation.
That's right. Yep.
Ooh, that was a mouthful. Okay, I was scared I was gonna mess that up. But I know that you won an award literally last month with them. The award looks super cute, super pretty, and you look amazing. But congrats.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about that award and what it meant.
No, so it was super cool. So again, I moved to DC in the first place based on an internship that I got through the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. And so essentially, I guess I can't get into all the layers, but basically they are a foundation off of the Congressional Black Caucus, which is the actual just kind of caucus on the Hill. And so essentially with what I won't say a CBCF for short, so the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, CBCF for short. One of their functionalities is, again, just providing this internship service, spring, summer, and fall, where they bring students from all over the country to DC just to really give them real life experience working on the Hill. As we know, politics isn't always the most diverse place, and so one of the missions of CBCF is to just diversify that pool. So they, again, a blessing. They provide housing, they provide a stipend, and so they make it really, affordable and realistic for people of color to be able to get this experience here. So I did that internship when they reached out saying that I'd been nominated for the Rising Star Award. I was just like, wow, like major full circle moment. I think you definitely will understand when you just kind of do the work, kind of keep your head down, and not that I'm ever looking for recognition, but it's always just like, okay, your work isn't being done in vain, right?
Right.
Folks are appreciating kind of your contributions to the culture, to the country, all that good stuff. And so it's really an honor and a privilege to be able to receive that award and be recognized for that.
That is so awesome. Once again, congratulations. I'm sure like when we went to OU, like I'm telling you, any room that you were in, it literally like you exude excellence. So no, you're welcome. Like for real, it looks like I'm just KP. Totally agrees with me. That's your bestie.
That's my girl, my bestie. Okay.
Hey, best friend.
True fate. Literally, we were supposed to go to like college. Not we were supposed to go to college together, but met in the 6th grade. Literally, she went to Howard. I went to OU, but I'm like, I've never come to DC. CBCF, we lived across the street from each other. Didn't even know.
What?
And my rock ever since. So shout out to my girl KP, like always here for me. So love her. Sorry, but keep going.
No, you're good. Shout out to KP. Okay, everybody needs that friend. Okay. Well, I love that, and you. Besides winning that award, you work alongside Marsha Fudge, which is a beloved soror of mine, and she is like a rock star in her role right now. What does your day-to-day look like? Because she's a busy woman.
She's a very, very busy woman. So literally day to day, I do my best to lead her into the office. So starting the day early, but everything from just making sure like her calendar's together, things are printed the way that she likes. Again, she's very old traditional in the sense of like she likes paper, she highlighted, she's making notes, like get this iPad off of my face, you know what I mean? So making sure
I can see that
the way that she likes is definitely a super important thing, but also just making sure that staff understand that like she's at the end of the day really a servant of the people. Like she's very people forward. Like new legislation is introduced, funding is being allocated, and she's just like, how soon are the people going to get it? Talk to these mayors, talk to these governors. And so very much still very boots on the ground, even as the highest level of government. So it's definitely an honor and a privilege working for her. And again, I definitely her sorority sister. She literally, I got requests for her for Founders Day in 2023. I'm like, y'all, can we get through this year first? Like, so
she ready.
She read so well, and she, yes, definitely always ready. So for her to stay ready, I really got to stay ready in a few days before. So she keeps me busy. She stays busy, but definitely super thankful to continue to be working for her.
That's awesome. And I know she's a very hands-on woman. Like, it seems like she's always out either in the community or putting on some type of conversation for her department. Talk a little bit about the, urban housing department and what their goals are to do within the nation.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's just to make sure that people have housing. And I did just pull our mission. So part of our mission is, again, to create strong, sustainable, inclusive communities and quality and affordable homes for all. So again, overall, we're just really looking to improve folks' everyday lives by just making sure that they have a good home to, lay your head. I think when she first started, she always talks about the importance of a home. You just learn so much there, depending, whether you have just your siblings, you may have grandma, auntie, cousins, whatever, staying with. There's just so much that you learn in your home, so many lessons that you get at the house. And so her mission and HUD's mission overall is just to make sure that, we are providing the most quality housing. And so I think just that trickles out in various ways. You care about your house, you care about your, your grass, and that can be that translates to making sure your street looks good. That translates to you really caring about your community and being involved there. So definitely a lot of different things, a lot of different branches that kind of grows from the foundation being a strong and solid home.
Awesome. And thank you for pulling that mission statement. Like, that's word for word what that department stands for. So I love it. What exactly do they do to educate, the public? What type of events do they hold?
So it literally varies, I think, especially in this post-pandemic world. Definitely a lot of different virtual events, webinars that we host. Again, we'll look through the whole chart, but essentially we're under the White House, and so sometimes we, try to make intentional collaborations with the White House, for example, other various stakeholders. There are so many nonprofit organizations that focus, just on housing, on affordable housing, and things of that nature. And so making sure we're connecting with all of our partners just to make sure we're amplifying the work that we do. We're amplifying the services that are available. Even today, I know the event's kind of coming to a close, but we're throwing the first ever house party. Catered to our young folks and adults, really encouraging young people to be homeowners. I know the market is definitely crazy right now, but again, we try to talk to the people where they're at, meeting the people where they are, and I think that's just so critically important, just to let them know that, hey, HUD is here for you, HUD is here to serve you, and again, the such a diaspora, again, from young adults to literally, our homeless population to our senior population. So we cover and touch people and try to be very intentional in our ways of marketing and promoting just the service that we offer and all that we do, for sure.
Love that. House party is a super cute name. Your best friend wants to know how she can get invited, because I want to know too.
So hopefully this is going to be like an inaugural thing. Again, I know a shout out to our team. I don't know if DeMarcus is still on. I saw him kind of pop on for a second, but someone who definitely was helpful in amplifying all of this work. And so again, it's our first time that we're ever hosting this. Hopefully it is an annual event. But it was like all online. It was, we went live. They're probably still live right now on Zoom, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, all that good stuff. So yeah, we wanted to make it open to the community. We wanted to make it easy. And what I can do is drop the link. So again, for any young adult who are considering becoming first-time home buyers, we do have a new landing page that we created just for this event. Let me type it actually. It's HUD.gov.
Yes, please. Thank you.
HUD house party. Look, always working. Hold on, let me make sure the people.
Okay, a working woman.
Okay, perfect. So y'all can definitely check that out. And all the resources from today will be there. And actually went live at about 5 o'clock. So feel free to check out the resources.
Awesome. And what time does the event end?
So 7:30 is the hour. So 6:30 to 7:30. So again, if as y'all going in and out of here,
yes,
I'm over there for the last 15 minutes for the segment, for sure.
No, I really appreciate that. And I mean, home ownership is something that my generation, I feel like, is taking super seriously. We're trying to pass on that generational wealth. So that's awesome. I thank you for dropping that link. And I want to know, just being, working alongside this, very, this amazing Black woman, what do you take away from your experience?
Goodness, that's a good question. I feel like something that she actually just said today is she tries to stay even keel, never too high, never too low, but always keeping the people first, right?
Yeah.
If I'm grateful to really work for a servant leader. I think for her, she's not afraid to go into these into the trenches, if you will, going into these kind of communities that have been casted off. She values meeting the people exactly where they are, and that's something that I definitely try to always carry with me. And so definitely just learning that it's okay to again stay servant focused.
Yes.
And she definitely is someone like that. I think the next biggest takeaway would definitely be remaining true to self, being authentic. She definitely is herself in every space that she goes. And I think it's just super dope to see a Black woman just being her full self in these rooms that were literally not built for us, right? They were not built initially to include us. And so when she comes in, definitely commands the attention of the room and does that by really being her authentic self. So definitely a really cool thing to witness, and I definitely hope to continue to embody for my own self.
I love that. And, like you said, being a Black woman, you don't see a lot of Black women in rooms like that in politics. We just saw this year, I believe I'm saying her name, Ketanji Brown Jackson, how she was treated, during her whole process. So, being a Black woman in politics, how do you feel like, you should carry yourself and represent, yourself as a Black woman and as someone, as the political representative?
For sure. So, I mean, I would say that definitely is respected to the person and their own personal goals. I think not everyone has that charge where they want to be the loudest in the room, where they want to be the most outspoken. And if that's not who you are, I feel like don't try to embody that because that's who you think you have to be. I think just always remaining true to self is definitely the key. And I think especially for Black women, I know for me, like I definitely at first was like nervous of like even getting my hair done. I got braids. I'll have braids. I might have a sew in the next
right.
And I think at first working on the hill, I was just like, all right, people are definitely getting like I'm crazy. And it was definitely a little daunting at first. But for me, I do particular hairstyles. And so that's just something that when it comes to me being in the office, being on a team, that's just what you're going to get. And so again, at the end of the day, just being who you are, I think it just speaks volumes. And I think just not compromising that for anyone is so important. And that's how I'm into that. So yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And we all love a versatile queen, okay? The sewing, the braids, all of it. I love it. Natural hair. Wait, hold on one second. You know what? Instagram, this is the second week, and I'm starting to know something. We'll get her right back here on the live, y'all. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Make sure y'all are following Get Into the Bag. Quick shout out to my sponsors, Columbus Black and Mild. And let's get Imani right back. I don't know what happened. I think it's Instagram. They got a vendetta against me. That's what I really think. Kevin, shut up. She's coming right back. They tried it, right?
But we're back. I'm starting to we're here. We're live. We're back.
No, see, real quick, we're going to keep it going. The show goes on always. Always. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning of my episode, I met you at Ohio University. Once again, an amazing leader. I feel like every room you stepped into, people knew who you were and people knew what you stood for. What brought your love of politics? Where did that originate? And what made you want to major in that?
So I definitely have to say my mom. So at the age of 5, she was elected as one of the youngest African-American women to city council from Warrensville Heights originally. And so she held that seat literally up until about a year ago. Wow. She made a career change. And so very early, it was like, well, help me, go to this meeting, help me put these flyers out. She's campaigning this, that, and the third. And so I think naturally, I guess I just didn't really fight what was just kind of happening in my environment, in my space. I think naturally we were always, me and my brothers would be dragged to various city council meetings. And so I just kind of started listening and paying attention. And it was just really cool to see how something that a constituent raised in a city council meeting and seeing how, that was resolved, a few days later, or a week later, or months later, whatever the time frame was. But for me, it really started falling in love with local government, under my mom as she, held that seat as city council person. And it just kind of stuck. I just never really let it go ever since. I definitely just found ways of appreciating being able to let people know, like, if you have an issue, like, it doesn't have to stop, at your household, in your community. There are people in place, mayor and city council folks, who are literally here to just, rectify those situations. So,
no, I was thinking, like, back then you probably were like, why am I doing this? I want to stay in bed. But do you like have a better appreciation for what your mom did?
I definitely do. I mean, when we were young, we were 5, 3, and 2, right? We were young. So, obviously my dad was working, mom was working. So we gonna be either at the construction site with my dad or at the city council with my mom. I feel like it was definitely the lesser of the two things. So again, once we got older, staying home by yourself, I think my brothers particularly exercised that liberty. But for me, I tried to keep going even when I came home from school. I would try to catch a city council meeting because it definitely became, families or the community. This is the community where I live and the community that I love. And so again, it definitely just became like a really natural, a really easy thing that, I just really found a true appreciation for sure.
Yeah, you just naturally fell in love with it.
Definitely. So again, I was like, okay, so I can kind of major in this, like political science, and that's what's up. And naturally, just always caring for my community. I have a minor in African American studies, and so really cool program at OU. Still learning a lot of like cool history things that I thought was super cool. So real easy, smooth transition. Definitely thankful to know that there was just a space just to talk about these things, a space to learn more about the work, our government, all that good stuff. So definitely no regrets from me. Definitely no regrets from me.
No regrets. Marquis said, you spilling too much tea about your brothers.
I'm telling you, okay? Okay?
This is a safe place.
But every one of them might still be on here. They were both on here at one point. So I ain't scared. It's okay.
Okay, she said, I ain't scared. It is what it is. So at OU, I love asking all my Bobcats, what is one of your favorite OU memories? The ones you can remember.
I honestly fell in love with OU before I got there. My cousin went there. And I would say probably my first bar. So I think we only had like one bar on like as a student. So I think it was like my junior year was like when we had a bar is Black Alumni Reunion Weekend. And so that was definitely one of my favorite favorite memories. And I think for us being at a PWI, we kind of found we found kind of community and solidarity with amongst us. And so I think just having the campus flooded with so many alum and other students of color is definitely it was a super cool memory for me to just see that in real time as a student was really dope. So that's my favorite one.
Yeah. I am all for that one too. Black Alumni Reunion is always, I ain't gonna say always like a bomb, because I think this is like my first real one as an alum. Like when I went the first time, I had just graduated. So I feel like that doesn't count.
And I missed it first one. So this last time when I went back, it was like my first one actually going. So.
Yeah, always a good time. It's lit. So your overall political goals, right? What exactly would you like to do the further you get into your career?
So I definitely haven't taken running for office off the table, but I think after my service with HUD, it would definitely be staying or pivoting more so into the community stakeholder engagement sector. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think there's just so many resources that I feel like our government and just different organizations have to offer. It's just people don't know about it,
right?
And so I can change the trajectory of all of that, but definitely letting people know that, hey, there are different services in place, just different funding opportunities, et cetera, in place for you, just to improve, your overall quality of life or just make things easier is something that I want to continue to do. And so whatever that looks like, Lord willing, I'll be able to see that through and be able to land a place and position that allows me to continue to do that work. So.
Awesome. And I love that you said, no matter what that looks like. So, I mean, that could be mayor, that could be governor, that could be senator. I don't know.
I don't know either, but something, let me know. But yeah, I don't know either.
I got you, girl. I got you, girl. Well, since we're talking about, positions in office, voting season, we're in it. It's here. And it's been an incredibly controversial year. I mean, literally everything from gun laws, abortion, voting rights, even forms of slavery on certain ballots. Super hot topics right now. Give us your take on just the importance of voting and your education behind it, knowing what you're voting for.
For sure. So I would definitely say voting is just so important. And I say that it's so important because if the other powers that we didn't think it was important, they wouldn't be intentionally trying to suppress it. They wouldn't intentionally try to be making it harder for us to do that. And so I think we can't sleep on the fact that your vote literally is your voice in terms of how you are being represented, how you are kind of demanding and asking, those that you potentially elected in office, how you want them to act. So I think it's incredibly important. I think when you look around your community and you're not happy with it, look at voter retention. How many people are turning out? Who's turning out to vote? Who do you guys have in office? And you don't people getting these seats for 10, 20 plus years. And so it's just like, that might be an issue if it just looked the same, right?
Right.
So I think voting is definitely a super, it's a fundamental right, and it's an easy right at the end of the day. I think obviously those that have different suppression tactics in place does create some barriers, but for those where again it is as easy as showing up early voting, you can vote by mail, you can vote in person, all these different things I know we'll continue to get to, but there's just so many different ways and opportunities to make sure that who you want in office, what you want amplified is at the table. And so that is definitely through your vote. And so again, just can't stress enough how important it is. And again, every candidate isn't for every person. So I know you talked about voter education. It's as simple as a Google search, and I think it just goes without saying, but just start there. And I think just putting in their names, what are they doing? How long have they been in office? How long have they been in politics? All those different things. And usually they'll have different, town halls, webinars, different opportunities for you to meet them in person. Like, they love when people go up to them and ask them questions, and they're there to answer that. They're there not to just to answer that honestly, and make sure that you can kind of hold them accountable, right? So I think starting there with the simple search, knowing who those candidates are, and making sure they know who you are too, is just so important. So definitely such an important right, and it's such an important part of the process that is government. And I just encourage everyone to do it. I feel like, again, if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be trying to make it harder for us. They wouldn't be trying to way. So
yes. And speaking on that, it's as easy as a Google search. Like you said, I was just curious about what was on Ohio ballots this year. So just typing in literally what is on the ballot 2022, it brings you to the ohioos.gov elections website. You can search the candidates. They have it all for you. You can search issues, and it's as easy as just reading through. Like, it takes no time. So definitely stressing that.
For sure. I think other places are trying to make it easier too. So I think even this time of year, you'll even notice your social media, like, hey, are you registered to vote? Like, if not, this is how you do that. Right. So it's too much information out there for us to just, again, err on the side of ignorance and kind of staying on the sideline. So you're absolutely right. Right. Absolutely right.
Your cousin misses you. Hey, run it up, KP. And I don't know.
My family is so funny. They be coming out. I love them.
No, I love the support. Come on, the Edwards family. But this is a really important election. I don't know if people realize how important it is. This election really does determine, who sits in Congress, who sits in those state houses, and who helps originate these laws. It's not all up to Joe Biden or whoever's in office, right? Which is why I feel like a lot of these laws that are coming up are somewhat, crazy. I feel like we're going backwards almost. So this election is important. When I say slavery is on certain ballots in certain states in the South, y'all, like, it's for real.
look a little louder for the people in the back who think you're quiet. But no, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you say to people, our generation, well, maybe not our generation, but we do have some individuals that feel like, their vote doesn't matter or it's not going to matter what they do. What is your response to that?
Again, I think it's just definitely hogwash. And I will say that, like, it just, again, if it wasn't important, they would not be trying to suppress it. They wouldn't be trying to make it harder for us to participate in a process that was supposed to be so open and inclusive. I think what's the most important thing to know, I think, like you said, it's not all on the president, right? The president is often the most highlighted person just in terms of like notoriety. But a lot of these issues that are impacting our day-to-day lives really rest on the state level sometimes, right? And so your governor really sets the tone for, a lot of things, a lot of ways that, the state ends up operating.
Right.
And so it's just, I think, as important as it is to do your research on the presidential candidates, it is, I would say, more important to, do that research on some of these state level folks. Again, we may not always, be in DC. We may not always, reap the benefits of some, some federal laws and legislations. But the roads that we drive down, every single day, we want to make sure that, how much they taking out of my taxes, right? Like how much do I pay, all these different things that affect your day to day. At the end of the day, if you are voting for a candidate who aligns with what you want to see and who aligns with the world and the life that you want to create, then I think you definitely, you should take it more seriously, because again, everyday government, again, is definitely in our business. And I think even looking at abortion rights, sometimes it's a little too in our business, right? It's just like, okay, well, I actually, need to take a step back, right?
Relax, right.
To again, who are we making sure wins these elections, gets appointed to these seats, and that who are we holding accountable to make sure that what we want to see happen is actually happening. So definitely not crazy, but crazy if you think that your vote does not matter, and it truly does. So much.
It really does. Great information. Thank you, mommy. That is my mother on the live. But like you said, your vote really does matter. And I always think a good argument to that is we saw what they tried to do after, Trump was voted out of office. We saw all of these different voting laws that were just kind of crazy. They were just trying to take laws away from anything, trying to make people not register to vote, which means that our votes did matter and we were able to change the outcome on some things. So I always say but it does matter because they're trying to make it harder. So you are absolutely right.
You're so right. No, that's exactly it. Again, not to beat the dead horse, but yeah, if it didn't matter, they won't care. Again, there's certain, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I think, if you just think of it as something as simple as, what can I say? You know what, I'm gonna think about it, but I feel like, again, at the end of the day, if it was important, they want to try to take it from us. And I feel like, again, you just have to open your eyes enough just to realize and understand that it's just, it is a voice that we have. When you think that people don't care, that they're not listening, they really are. When you think
more than you think,
are acting, well, are we really applying the pressure, right? I think government offices, buildings are fairly accessible. Like sometimes it's a little crazy, so you see January 6th, you can just walk up into some of these places sometimes.
Literally.
And so making a call, writing in a letter, again, at the end of the day, showing up to the polls holds a lot of weight. And I just want our community specifically to make sure that we're just more intentional in understanding that. And again, just really maximizing on the power that we really do have.
Absolutely. Great message there, Monty. Shout out to my mom and dad. She made sure to tell me my dad was there. And shout out to your pops as well. I saw Papa would be so proud of you. I love that. So shout out to our parents, period.
Village, our people, absolutely.
Yes, our people. So, we talked a lot about just things that you can do to educate yourself about what's happening in your community, what's happening around you. Are there any websites that, you can provide or any resources?
Yeah, so my favorites are definitely both the whenweallvote.org. the two that I'm going to highlight specifically are whenweallvote.org and rockthevote.org are still two websites, organizations that I lean on heavily. Again, on those sites, you can not only register to vote on those websites as quickly as just going to the website, putting your information, you're registered to vote. You can also verify your registration, and you can also get information on different candidates, and they can also direct you to your local board of elections. So again, really no excuses. There's so many resources out there. And again, that's whenweallvote.org and also rockthevote.org are just two that I usually use most more often than not. But there are definitely several that are out there that again allow you to not only register but kind of verify where you're registered at, and also just get some vital information on candidates and respective issues. So
yes, absolutely. Y'all heard those websites. Make sure y'all go to those websites. Type if you're not registered. Can you still register? Is it too late?
So in some states you can, others you can't. So I will always just direct everyone to their local board of election just to figure out their rules. I believe. So yeah, I would say go to your local board of election. I know we'll have we have a bunch of different states and cities represented here. But if you just type in, board of elections, Cleveland, and I believe it's usually by the county. So Cuyahoga County's board of elections, we'll be able to just check those rules there.
Thank you for that. And like I said, y'all, if y'all don't like what's going on in your backyard, this is the election for it. She said those roads, it's about to be snow time. So if those roads are plowed, all my people in Cleveland, you have the power.
Absolutely.
You have the power. Well, thank you for that. Any initiatives that you're doing? Are you going door to door? What are you doing to make sure people are voting?
So not so much door to door for me, with pandemic and just work.
Right.
All the things right now, but usually on the weekends, I will try to do some phone banking, some text blasts, things of that nature. But definitely, I encourage folks if you can, definitely being out. Again, people want to touch and feel and see, and understand and have conversations with people who are asking for their vote, right?
Right.
And so, if you are able, please volunteer a campaign. I promise all these candidates need help, and so they will definitely not turn away any type of volunteers. There's definitely a lot of ways to get involved, and so looking at your local NAACP or your urban league, or again the campaign itself, they usually have a campaign office where you can get information on how to volunteer, whether that's door knocking, whether that's running tent, whether that's helping with scheduling, whether that's again phone banking or sending out text blasts. There's no fee, I would say, too small or nothing too small, not enough to help out and really be involved for sure.
Awesome. And I know myself, I registered to be a poll worker this year. Yes, so we're gonna go out to the polls. We'll see what my shift is looking like.
I did an all day polling volunteer thing. So I was there at 4:30, I think.
In the morning?
Yes, in the morning.
Ooh, okay.
The polls opened at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. So maybe I was there at 5.
Okay.
I got up at 4:30. There probably at 5. Polls open at 6. And I was there until 6:30 p.m. It was a whole 12-hour day, but really cool experience. And now it's not as dramatic. Everyone's gonna come up with shit. But I'm let me just try it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna smile and wave through that one because 4 o'clock is kind of early. But I'm going. I will be there, people. I will be at the polls in your Franklin County community. So yes, if you see me, make sure, say something. Say you saw my episode. Get into the Bag is an educational platform as well. Okay. All right. Well, I want to pivot a little bit because, I definitely wanted to put that political information out there, but I would love to learn, more about you and, your testimony. I saw that you have, I'm not sure if you're still doing it currently, but a faith series, right? Yes. So tell me about that. What is that?
Okay, so it's my baby, Faith Stories, but it is named, it's essentially a video series aiming to bring forth transformation through transparency. And so for me, it was definitely birthed out of a very kind of dark time for me. I think for me, it was just a matter of letting some of the things that I would kind of internalize or I kind of had shame around. It was really kind of boggling me down, like weighing me down. And so I think, ironically enough, and kind of talking to some folks, they were just like, oh, well, that happened to me too. Like, I would have never thought that, that was your story, that was your testimony, right? And so I think if people just kind of break the ice over some of the things that are trauma, are stressful, or whatever, I think there's so much power in just being able to not only name it, but just being able to talk through it and live through it. And so, like, that situation could have defeated me, right? But it didn't. Again, I talked about my very first story, talking about my battle with suicide. And so something that everyone was like, you, Imani? I'm like, yeah, girl, on my college campus, in my dorm room, just stressed, right? And so that's something that is definitely unfortunate, but it's definitely not unique to just me, right? And so I think just being a leader and starting some of those hard conversations that I know have just been beneficial for me. And again, I know it's been beneficial for other folks. And initially doing that weekly, it was a matter of, hey, like, I just had no idea, like, I had the same, and now I kind of feel comfortable talking to, my mom about it now, or my significant other about it, right? Yeah. And so that's really what it is. Again, just aiming to just start these like really critical conversations, really breaking down some of the stigmas that are attached to some of these very hard, real issues. Yes. At the end of the day, hopefully, kind of fueling that fire and bringing forth transformation through that. So coming back soon. I know for me, I just had to started lifing, and I was
girl.
Okay,
because we can talk about life.
That's like the phrase for like these few weeks, or just my life right now. This is like this 20-somethings kind of evolution of my life.
Yeah.
It'll always be that way, right? And so for me, just like why sit back on the sidelines and just kind of fall victim to that. Figure out where to prioritize my own freedom, and then also hoping to help other folks in doing that is definitely coming back soon on the horizon. So that's what my story is about.
Well, I will be looking for that because I personally, I tapped in, and like you said, you'll be surprised what people go through behind closed doors. So transparency, especially with yourself being a leader, I love that. I feel like it's super important. My platform, my other podcast, I feel like that's also a moment for me to be transparent and share my stories, and it's healing for you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just really appreciate that. People, are so private, and especially the Black community, it's not easy to do that.
Girl.
Yeah.
Especially
the people in the back, the whole
days in this house, right?
Right.
We don't talk about that. We don't. And it's like that's very weird. Like, why I feel like it happened. Like, it's okay, but like this is how I got here, right? And I think not to pivot too much, but I think if we just even knew the battles that our parents went through, or if we knew the battles that some of the other folks that we just love like kind of went through, I think it also makes you not feel so much shame, because it's like, oh, I'm not the only one going through this, or like, how did you kind of overcome that? Yeah. Or even, on the unfortunate end, I can see how that is something that still kind of, that still has you in chains, right? And I'm trying to break that. So again, I think just creating the platform, starting the conversations to just have those hard conversations is just definitely so important. And again, in a community that again focuses so much on really like burying that, I think there's just such a beautiful thing, and just like that birth and that blooming and that becoming process. So
yes, becoming. Come on, Michelle.
Forever first lady, okay?
Forever first lady. Well, I'll be looking for those to come back. Ellie said, hey, Ellie, thanks for hopping on the live.
Another Bobcat, my girl.
Hey, girl. Hey. So what message, once, I don't know when you're looking to bring it back. I know you're a really busy woman, especially right now. But what message, once you do you want people to take away from your testimony?
Ooh. That's a great question. I would say, just at the end of the day, don't let like your darkest moments really cripple you from fulfilling your purpose, your destiny. I think at the end of the day, like you said, I'm so appreciative. I'm like, you don't ever know how you're impacting people. So for you to be like, on campus using the rail. And I'm like, girl, did I do that? Because little do you know, like I
Because
got
you
all
did.
this conversation, this and the third. And so I don't even know how I'm kind of, sometimes you're just kind of on like, you're just kind of on like go mode. You're just kind of rolling, not really processing things. But I would say, again, life happens to literally everyone. And I think it's just really about how do you overcome that? And so whatever that looks like for you, whether that's being connected through your faith, whether that's being connected to community, therapy, whatever it is, it's okay to seek that help. It's okay to, be down, but grow through that. It's okay to acknowledge like this was done to me, but it's not, who I am, and it's not who I have to stay being. And so the day I just want everyone to know that like life happens for literally every single person. But again, you really have the power to really change the narrative how the rest of your life will turn out. So
yes. Oh, I love that. I feel like that was like, especially for me, because like you said, life be life and you never know what people be going through. So, just continue to put, your stories out there, be as transparent as you would love to be with us, because just as much as we're learning with you, I'm learning from you as well. So I appreciate you, girl.
As like likewise, moderating our conversation, keeping us flowing, keeping us happy and going. So again, it's a give and take always. So I appreciate that.
Always. Well, I think this is, a great time, since we're talking about, getting through our troubles, our traumas. It's a great time to shout out your community, right? The people, your village. Talk about, the people that have supported you. Give these people their flowers.
Yes, I love that. So again, I'm already gay. I don't know if she's still on here, but my best friend Kayla, I do have to just kind of shout her out because again, my story when I came to DC, I definitely was like, I'm here, but I'm about to go back to Cleveland. Like, I'm gonna do this third. And she was just like, she was one of those people who was like, you might just kind of get to see it, try, really stick it out, and just kind of see where it takes you. And I think for me, again, she's also from Cleveland, and just to see two girls from the 216 out here, 202,
Come on.
just kind of figure purpose, operating, and what that is an inspiration. Again, she is one of the hardest workers that I know. She's the president of a really dope Black-run, Black-focused organization on the Hill. So she's doing a lot of great things. All of my sister mentors in DC, again, it's so many to name, but really these Black women in these very senior spaces, and these spaces, again, like I said earlier, not necessarily created for us, but we have found a way to make our presence known, and really finding a place for our voice. I would definitely say my family, as always. I think rather, I didn't get too many of them to name, but at the end of the day, they definitely continue to encourage me in their own way. And so, good or bad, again, I know that at the end of the day, there's no one who's gonna, ride for you or rock for you like your family. So all of them. And lastly, my man, my fiance, my boy Marquise, he definitely has, his own unique journey. But I think just being fortunate enough to meet him, soon, kind of really being under that leadership has taught me so much about myself, and has just really ignited a fire in me to really have someone who just truly supports me, whatever that looks like. I'm definitely blessed to have found that in my partner. So
amen.
That's out.
She said, my man, my man, my man.
Yeah.
Yes, and shout out to him, past show guest, another great episode that he left us with tons of gems. So now that y'all both been on the show, y'all think y'all my first show couple.
That's so cute.
Well, before we get out of here, girl, once again, super educational episode. Appreciate all your resources and all your wisdom. When is voting? Let's talk about that so people know when to get out.
Voting is Tuesday, November 8th, literally 1 week from today.
Okay.
So again, I would definitely encourage everyone to just quick Google search again. You don't got no excuses. You all got a phone, Safari, Google Chrome, however it's easiest for you. But just looking at your local board of elections, to see if you are eligible for early voting. I definitely always encourage early voting, just so you're not waiting in these lines of like the last moment election day. But definitely going to your local board of elections, checking their hours is super important. But again, last day is next Tuesday from today. I believe polls close at either 6:30 or 7, but again, try to get it done as early as you can. But 1 week from today is the last day.
1 week, y'all. So y'all got 1 week, y'all got a phone, y'all got the internet. I don't want to hear no excuses. Those lines are long. So if you could vote early, vote early. But I always enjoyed the voting experience. They always get like the coolest little snacks out there. So I enjoy my time. I love a good snack.
In Franklin County, you gotta bring this.
Girl, it depends on what time they want me to be there. Cause if it's at 4:30, ain't nobody getting a snack. I need a snack.
I love it.
Well, before we get out of here, please highlight any upcoming events, either you're having, the HUD, anything.
So no major events for me to flag right now. Again, just go out and vote. That's the event. Voting next week.
You heard that?
Everyone get to their local polls for sure. But if there is anything, I know how to reach you, and I'll definitely be sure to send that to you if you can be helpful in amplifying on your various platforms. But nothing right now. Just vote, y'all. Just go ahead and vote next week. Next Tuesday is the day.
Literally, that's the message. Go vote, y'all. Literally, there's a lot lying on this election. So, if America is being real, it's tripping right now, y'all. I don't know if y'all are watching the news. It's really hard to watch the news. It's a lot of going on, not gonna lie, but y'all need to know what's going on. So make sure. And I'm not saying that just because I was a journalism major. Like, it really is a lot going on.
No, not because you got intel, but no, because it's literally a lot going on. I think you just keep an eye open and look out in your community. You really can't miss it. And so again, there's something that's affecting someone. If it's not you, it's someone in your family, someone in your community. Yes. And so whatever that issue is, even realizing that it may not be something directly impacting you, but best believe it may be impacting your sibling, it may be impacting, a loved one. And so just doing your part to just get the information, and then also exercising that power that is your vote. Again, just can't stress enough how critical and important that is.
Yes, your vote does matter. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let me play a little exit music here, because I would love for you to leave us with a positive note.
Yes. What's the vibe?
So I have to use some copyright music, not gonna lie. I'm gonna use some copyright music because last time I didn't, Instagram kicked me off the live. So this is a mix. So leave us with a positive note, Queen, to send us off the rest of our week.
The issues that are important to your loved ones. Please visit your local board of elections just to understand if you can vote early, and if not, early voting is not available in your area for whatever reason. Again, November 8th, Tuesday, November 8th is the last day for you all to get out and vote. Again, if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be trying to take it away from us. And so make sure you show them wrong by showing up, and showing out, and voting on next Tuesday.
That's it right there. Mic drop. Well, thank you so much for making some time out of your busy schedule to join me tonight.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. And we're going to have you back once the Faith series come back, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You're going to be accountable. As soon as it's back, you're going to be the first one to know.
Oh, if I'm going to do one thing, I'm going to hold you accountable.
Love it. Thank you.
Well, shout out to my sponsors, Columbus Black and Mile. Make sure y'all following them on all social media platforms. If you were loving this episode tonight, make sure you share it, repost it, comment underneath it. The show will be posted for everyone to see once we get off this live. Also, to all my business owners, my creatives, anybody in the professional field making a name for themselves, I would love to highlight you on the show. This show is a platform for my Black individuals out there needing a space to share their journey and their story. So inbox me. Let's go. Let's talk about it. So tune in next week. We're going to have Elsie on the live. She is going to be talking about her new business venture, which is also, she is in DC now. Yes.
Too many folks. There's too many bobcats out here. I love it. I love
Really
it.
is. And y'all are doing the darn thing. So love to see it. So make sure y'all tap in every Tuesday. We are live at 7 p.m. So love you, girl. Good night.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
You find the right therapist for you. There's actually a questionnaire that goes out to specify what qualities or areas of specialization that you want your therapist to have a focus on. You can even express preferences like gender, race, and sexuality to really help you connect with them even more. Another great thing is that you're able to go online and message your therapist, which I think is great and something I really took advantage of a lot in the beginning. My therapist always got back to me with a timely and thoughtful response, and it really made me feel cared about. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today, and they have therapists that are waiting to help you get started on your journey.
Girl, and I'm still in this Zoom, forgetting to hang up.
I'm screaming because we are still live.
I'm looking up like
not for real this time.
Thank you so much. Today was so fun. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what happened on Instagram, but hopefully you get all the analytics and all the good things that you need. But I appreciate you for having me. You are phenomenal. Please keep it up.
I really appreciate you, girl. You are phenomenal as well. And you keep it up.
Yes, ma'am. Will do. We'll talk soon. I appreciate